Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and in this video we're going to be revisiting the G Pro X Superlight. It's been a pretty popular topic recently. I'm sure many of you guys have seen Techni's video, and I've been using it as my main mouse. It has really not left my desk since early December, so I have a lot of time on it, been using it quite a bit, and I feel like I could just give some more updated opinions. First thing we're going to talk about is the quality, and this is a major concern, especially on a $150 mouse. There really shouldn't be like tons of QC issues. So the first thing is like the actual build of the mouse itself. This has held up perfectly fine. There's no flexing, no creaking, no rattling. Like the build quality is still perfect. And that remains impressive that Logitech was able to make the mouse so light but built so well, similar to the 80-gram version. But when we get to the main clicks, we see some issues start to arise. The first of which is just tons of side play on the main clicks. I'm sure many of you guys saw Techni's video on this topic, and he had the same issue as I am having. And I feel like a lot of copies are just starting to develop this over time. I've been browsing Reddit and Twitter and seeing the same. And I'm not going to lie, it doesn't cause any issues for me. The way I grip the mouse, my fingers are pretty far down on the click, and you see when I click it and try to get play, there's just nowhere near as much play, but at the top of the mouse there is a lot, and this just seems like a flaw in the click design. Maybe they could like update it in a batch. That would be really insane. But yeah, it seems like the click quality just isn't the best, and especially not what I would be expecting from a $150 mouse. The 20Ms themselves though, they do feel really nice. They feel snappy. That is the best word to describe them. Obviously you would like to see like some aftermarket switches, like kill switches, but that's not what we're getting, at least not yet. It does seem like they've fully fixed the double clicking issue. I haven't heard one person complain about that, so that's a major plus. And another thing, I feel like this doesn't get enough love. The coating on the Superlight is fucking like insane. Just using this mouse for so long, sweat has not been an issue like whatsoever. Like I've even fucking sweat on my XM1R, but on the Superlight it really has an insane coating. It's like slightly rubberized, but it's held up great over time. I saw one thing on Twitter of somebody who like ripped a hole in the coating or something by the side button. I think it was Sensei. I'll try to put a link if I can find it. But getting back on topic, the side buttons. They do have a good bit of pre-travel once again. They are still mushy, so really no love for the side buttons. I don't use them much in game. If I did, it would probably bother me a bit more. Maybe some people like it. I don't know. I thought they were going to be better once they moved away from the magnetic design. That was not the case. But they're still in a good position, very light, but you really just don't get much feedback. They do feel mushy, and mine have a ton of pre-travel. The feet, I have replaced mine with corepads. You can get them from Lethal Gaming Gear. Use code boardzy. They're a lot better than the stock feet. At first, I didn't think the stock feet were that bad because they really weren't. But they are so extremely thin that they unironically wore out within like weeks. So I got the corepads and it's way better. But on a $150 mouse, should you really have to pay another $10 for feet? Adding to the fact that you don't even have you don't get an extra set of feet in the box. All you get is the shittiest grips on the planet. And even though I can criticize this mouse so much, there's still a reason why it's my main. Just grabbing this mouse, it feels so natural. The weight feels perfectly balanced. Literally every person who has touched this mouse has noticed how perfectly the weight balancing can feel. And it's really insane that every other mouse doesn't feel exactly this good. The wireless is obviously perfect, and I have had to charge this mouse maybe 5 times since getting it. You gotta realize that is so insane. I don't give a fuck if it uses like an XLR cable to charge. If I have to charge it that little, that's a major win in my books. Especially compared to like the Ponage Ultra Custom Symmetrical. Like, oh yes, USB-C, but like it dies every 2 days. Like, who in the world would not prefer this? But yeah, getting back to the sensor, I used to not really care about having a flagship sensor, but after the Model O wireless had major sensor issues and the Ponage Ultra Custom Symmetrical seems to be having issues, I don't know, just having that nice flagship, like perfect wireless, I definitely value it. and you are paying $150 for a shape that will almost 100% work for you. Like, I just can't think of many scenarios where the G Pro wireless doesn't work. For fingertip, it might not be optimal, and if you palm grip, once again, just go fuck yourself. But for claw grip, regardless of your hand size, I think it's like a really god tier shape. And fingertip, it's viable, but I think the Hottie S wireless, or maybe even the new Final mouse, will be the best fingertip mouse. And I absolutely have been Superlight pilled, because for the time I've been using this mouse, it has been consistently joyful. It's been such a positive experience that it does have those issues, and you can decide for yourself how much something like this matters to you. And I'm gonna say, like, the feel of this mouse has not deteriorated. The clicks still feel amazing like they did on day one, but there is a bit more play up here where really I'm never touching. And I think it's very interesting to compare the Superlight to the XM1R, because on paper the XM1R should be a much better purchase. It's $60 as Kale 8.0 switches, like extremely top of the line specs, but it is a wired mouse, and I know this is so fucking cringy because the wire is insanely good, but something about having the 60-gram wireless Superlight, it's just such a comfortable shape to use over long periods, and I think the XM1 has an incredible shape, but it is more aggressive without a doubt, and I have just been able to use the Superlight for like weeks on end, just with no complaints, performing well consistently. And I do not think the XM1 is a bad mouse or a bad value by any means, but in my experience owning both of these mice, I am just consistently coming back to the Superlight because I enjoy it more. And I don't know how much the fact that it's wireless factors into that. It's really just impossible for me to tell. I'm like just completely brain dead in that one aspect. So that's very sick. Also, the scroll wheel, it just feels like so buttery and like slightly lubed. I don't know if there is any lube on it, but it feels very nice. It definitely like broke in, and it feels a bit nicer. I don't know if it sounds any different. But I'm satisfied. And all in all, $150. I was a customer. I bought this mouse. It came out to like $172 because I bought the fucking like expedited shipping as well. And I'm satisfied with my purchase. I received my main mouse with that money, and I think that was worth it. But obviously for some people, if you're on like an extreme budget, no, do not get this mouse. And just talking about this shape, so many people criticize it for being too safe. It is like sort of a potato, but honestly, like I've said before, I just don't mind it, and it truly does feel a lot different than the standard G Pro wireless. If you have a standard G Pro wireless and you have not gotten a Superlight, you are torturing yourself. Please stop doing that. Who wants to torture themselves? And that's probably going to be all for this re-review of the G Pro X Superlight. All things considered, I am very satisfied. This is going to be my main mouse. I presume for some time to come, I am going to be getting the Hottie S wireless in the upcoming days, and I have no clue when I'm going to be getting the Final S, but I think I'm still getting sent it. So yeah, until then, this is definitely going to be my main, and I will keep you guys posted on the quality as well. But as of now, I'm just really not too concerned since it's not a problem for me in game. And the fact that all of the other aspects of the mouse are like so refined, it helps like mitigate the small problems that could be caused by like side play if you grip towards the top of your clicks. But since I'm not experiencing those, it's really just a complete non-issue. And yeah, this
boardzy
is my main mouse.
God, fuck.
And I was muted and not deafened in my Discord call, so I got interrupted by my thumbnail maker. Shout out to him. But yeah, this review's over. I am still a major fan of this mouse. I'll leave a link in the description if it's in stock right now. And yeah, make sure to follow me on my other socials, like and sub. Peace.